transferred to Manchester United today.
Football predictions.
If Rangers nil, Ipswich Town 1.
Football predictions.
Hi, it's Peter Guest, and I'm here with the Moose for yet another episode of the footballpredictions.net podcast, covering German Bundesliga games for the 13th to the 15th of December 2024. And you can see all the details for the matches we're about to discuss in this podcast on our website, footballpredictions.net, alongside fixtures from almost every other football competition in the world from A to Z.
Yes, and on our website, it will show you where to watch the games on local broadcast channels, plus video streaming services, as well as team news and match odds from local bookmakers. Look in the description of this podcast episode for direct clickable links to all of the matches we're about to discuss. Geolocation and live streaming rules apply. 18 plus, gamble aware.
And our first match today is Freiburg, who sit in 7th place in Bundesliga, who take on Wolfsburg, who are 5th. And this one is on Friday, the 13th of December at 7:30 UK time in the evening. And, of course, on footballpredictions.net, you can find your localized kickoff time, odds, TV channels, and streaming services. This one's being live streamed on Bet365. Use our bonus code FP365 to watch it free and subscription free. Couple of teams in very different form at the moment.
Yes, this is a very interesting game, especially when we look at the away team Wolfsburg, because their start to the season wasn't actually all that great. During the first 9 matches, they only managed to beat Bochum and Holstein Kiel, who are, of course, the bottom 2 teams who are really struggling. So you would have anticipated wins from those, but no other wins there. They then had 3 draws and 4 defeats. However, over the last month or so, since beginning of November, Wolfsburg have not lost a game. That includes the DFB Pokal as well. And looking at their record in the Bundesliga, last weekend, a 4-3 win at home to Mainz, a game that we did predict because we had both teams to score and Wolfsburg to win in that game. Also predicted their win in the DFB Pokal that midweek against Hoffenheim. That ended with a 3-0 win for Wolfsburg. And I think we have to mention the 2 away wins here because they went to Leipzig and beat them 5-1 and Heidenheim 3-1 as well. So some really strong form from Wolfsburg, who've moved up to 5th in the Bundesliga, but they are playing a Freiburg team who were having a good start to the season. They had 5 wins from their first 7 matches. The defeats kind of came to Bayern Munich and then a freak home defeat to St. Pauli. However, last 6 games, just 1 win. That was a home win against Borussia Mönchengladbach, a 3-1 win in that game. And guess what? We actually called that one because we had a 3-1 Freiburg correct score prediction in that game. And also last week in the Bundesliga, away to Hoffenheim, we predicted a 1-1 in that game, and guess what? That ended 1-1 as well. So, yeah, we've had some strong predictions on Freiburg. Also, they had the away defeat at Dortmund, 4-0. We said 3-0 Dortmund. And then prior to that, at Union Berlin, a draw, and we predicted the draw there too. So, yeah, some strong predictions on Freiburg and, of course, on Wolfsburg. But going into this game, if we do look at Freiburg at home, apart from that St. Pauli defeat, they have been looking quite good. They've had 4 wins and 1 draw. So despite the dip in form overall, has to be said the 2 defeats over the last 6 games has been at Dortmund and at Leipzig. So 2 of the stronger teams in the Bundesliga will always be difficult. We know how strong Dortmund is at home, so that's always a difficult game. So overall, we're not going to say that Freiburg's really that out of form, to be honest. And yeah, looking at this game, we think that maybe they can sort of get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Look at those Freiburg results. They only had the 1 win in 6 in all competitions, but that was at home, and all the rest of them were away except for the draw with Mainz, which was at home as well, but they didn't lose that. And we think it's time probably that Freiburg will give it an improved display and maybe bounce back. But for this one, with Wolfsburg in such great form, we think they'll probably score, and we think the home team will get a goal as well. So we're kind of sitting on the fence a bit, but we are going for both teams to score prediction in this one. You get fairly good odds on that of 1.7. So that's what we're kind of thinking is going to be the thing. If you call us out for a winner, we've got Freiburg to actually win. We think they might edge it in this one, and you can get odds of that at 2.1 at the moment. Just looking at the other result, odds there for a draw is 3.6, and for a Wolfsburg away win 3.4. They're out at 3.4. So yeah, we think it'll be Freiburg to win. Correct score prediction, we're going for 2-1. And the odds for that correct score of 2-1 are 9 at the moment. That's on Bet365. So yeah, we're going for the Freiburg home win, get them back on track. 2-1. Next up, we've got Augsburg, who are 13th, who take on Bayer Leverkusen, who are up in 3rd. And this one is on Saturday, 14th of December, 2:30 in the afternoon, UK time. Of course, find your local kick-off time and all the odds on our page for this game, which you'll find in the description on footballpredictions.net. You can live stream this one. It's available. Use our bonus code FP365 to watch it free, subscription free. So it doesn't get much better than that. And this is very similar to the last game. You really got Augsburg coming in very limply with lots of draws and a loss and the odd win versus Leverkusen, who are just winning everything at the minute.
Yeah, wow, Leverkusen. Maybe let's start with Leverkusen, because how impressive is their form? Even think about last season in the Bundesliga, where they didn't lose a single game. And then at the 13 games they've played this season in the Bundesliga, just one defeat. That's 47 Bundesliga games now and just one defeat, which was at home to Leipzig right at the beginning of the season. But really, ever since that game, Leverkusen across all competitions have just lost that one game at Liverpool. They lost 4-0 at Liverpool at Anfield. But in the Champions League, to be honest, they bounced back strong. They then went on to beat Salzburg 5-0 and Inter Milan midweek 1-0. So they had a 1-0 win midweek against Inter Milan. And if you followed our predictions for the Champions League this week, you would have known that we predicted a 1-0 win for Leverkusen in that game. We also predicted Leverkusen last weekend to beat St. Pauli 2-1, and it ended 2-1 to St. Pauli. Yep. And then Leverkusen had quite an impressive result in the DFB Pokal, because they went to Bayern Munich and knocked them out in the DFB Pokal. Prior to that, again, it had another correct score on Leverkusen. We had them to beat Union Berlin in their last Bundesliga away game. They beat them 2-1, and we predicted
3 correct scores.
Three correct scores out of 4, yeah. And when we look at the outcomes, we've had 5 out of the last 6. So yeah, Leverkusen, very strong form. I mean, you can't get away from that, and it's very impressive what Alonso has been doing there. Now, if we look at Augsburg, because obviously there is an opponent in this game as well, Augsburg, 1 win from the last 5, and that was against Bochum. That was probably predictable, because obviously Bochum, again, they sit bottom of the Bundesliga with just 2 points, so they're kind of there for the taking. But apart from that, no other wins, but they are fairly strong at home. Augsburg, it has to be said, they've just lost 1 game all season. That was at home to Mainz, but they have beaten teams like Dortmund, Gladbach, and then they beat St. Pauli as well, and then picked up points against Hoffenheim and Werder Bremen. So it's not going to be an easy task for Leverkusen. But looking at the form of both teams, and considering also that Augsburg, they're not scoring too many goals, sort of 1 on average over the last 5, they will have a tricky time against Leverkusen and trying to break them down. Yeah,
this should be a fascinating one. Augsburg at home are pretty tough, and they're tough to beat. They do draw quite a bit, but they obviously overall they're not doing too well in the season. And, Leverkusen, how about this for a statistic? Leverkusen are undefeated in their last 23 league matches away from home. So what a run that's been. Pretty amazing. So, we don't think that's likely to change, but we do think it'll be close, and we think it might be a low scoring game. We've gone for an under 2.5 goals game here, and you get odds there at the moment anyway. Check our website at 2.2. So I think that's pretty reasonable. But yeah, if you're going to go for the Leverkusen win, odds not so great, 1.57. And yeah, we've opted for a Leverkusen win in terms of the win-draw-win market. But for the correct score prediction, we think it will be low scoring, 1 or 2-0 to Leverkusen. So, but we've actually gone for a 1-0 away win, and you can get odds there at the moment anyway of 8. In a poll on the website, 61% of people voting think Leverkusen, 22% Augsburg, with the rest a draw. But yeah, if you did like betting on the home team to win, which would be a surprise, you get odds of 6 at the moment. That's 5 to 1, and betting on a draw, you get 4. Next up, we've got Mainz, who are in 9th position, taking on league leaders Bayern Munich. And this one kicks off on Saturday, the 14th of December, 2:30 p.m. UK time. Go to our webpage, which is in the description, at footballpredictions.net to find your local kickoff time, betting odds, broadcast streaming options. You can stream this one live. Who doesn't like a bit of free streaming? Watch it. Use our bonus code FP365 and watch it live and free. But Mainz have had a really high-scoring loss in the last game, but before that, doing pretty well. So have they got any hope against Bayern?
Yeah, actually, if we look at Mainz first, had that game at Wolfsburg. We covered that a little bit earlier in this podcast, where we had Wolfsburg to win and both teams to score prediction, and ended 4-3 to Wolfsburg. But actually, prior to that, we had the 2 Mainz outcomes correct. We had Mainz to beat Hoffenheim at home. Also, we had under 2.5 goals in that game. It ended 2-0 to Mainz. And at Holstein-Kiel, we had Mainz to win, and they beat them comfortably 3-0. Before Holstein-Kiel, Mainz beat Dortmund 3-1 at home. But we do know how Dortmund kind of have this really home and away record this season in the Bundesliga. Really strong at home and really poor away from home. They've only picked up 2 points away from home, Dortmund, which were 2 draws. But yeah, if we continue on Bayern Munich, Bayern obviously unbeaten in the Bundesliga so far, 10 wins and 3 draws. Their most recent draw was away to Dortmund, and we just said how Dortmund was much more of a home team than an away team, so fairly decent point for Bayern Munich there. But look at Bayern, midweek 5-1 win against Shakhtar Donetsk. We did have Bayern to win that game. We also had both teams to score on our prediction there, and the same for last week at home to Heidenheim, where they beat them 4-2. But then Bayern did lose at home to Leverkusen in the DFB Pokal. So they've been knocked out of the cup, and then they had to draw away to Dortmund. So look, away from home, don't get me wrong, Bayern's had some really big results this season away from home. They beat Bochum 5-0. They beat Werder Bremen 5-0. They beat Holstein Kiel 6-1. But Mainz is probably just in terms of quality, in terms of form, they are just a little bit up on those teams in terms of quality. So it's not going to be easy for Bayern. Mainz can score goals. They've showed that over the last 4 matches. They've scored an average of over 2 goals a game, because in 3 out of the 4, they've actually scored 3 goals and then 2 goals against Hoffenheim. So they got goals in them. It's not going to be easy for Bayern. I think it's probably fair to say that we predict some goals in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth mentioning though, Bayern Munich, I still think they're without Harry Kane, aren't they? So it does add a different dimension to things. But looking at their results, they have still been doing very well. I know they got kicked out of the DFB Pokal by, it was Leverkusen, right? We just talked about how good they are away. And also the other game was Dortmund away. So some tough games there. So it doesn't really mean that Bayern Munich have lost the plot. They're still top of the league. And we probably think they're going to carry on here. But an interesting one here is you noticed that Mainz are usually the scorer of quite a few goals. And you look at their last few games, they scored, even though they lost against Wolfsburg, they scored 3. They scored 2 against Hoffenheim, 3 against Holstein Kiel away, 3 against Borussia Dortmund at home. So they're in there. And but coming up against Bayern, Bayern beat them didn't they? This is the same game basically back in October, 30th of October. It was 4-0 away to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich visited Mainz and won 4-0. So we probably think it's going to be a repeat. But we do think Mainz, given their good goal scoring recent form, being at home for this one as well, probably will score, and we think Bayern will too. So our tip here, even though the odds aren't great at 1.67, is both teams to score, but better to be a bit surer than not. If you do want to go for a Bayern win, you can only get odds of 1.5, so a bit less appealing on that. Regarding the correct score, we have gone for a 2-1 win to Bayern, away win to Bayern Munich. 67% of you in that vote on our page, on our website, which you can find in the description, vote for Bayern, 6% mind. So not many people holding out hope. If you are interested in that correct score of 2-1 to Bayern, it's odds of 8.5. And just so you know, if you wanted to bet on mines, you can get odds of 6.5. So pretty high. But a draw, which is, not impossible here, is also 4.5. So a bit of split. But on the safety side, we think we're going to go for both teams to score. Next up, we've got Borussia Mönchengladbach, who are in 11th at the moment, taking on Holstein Kiel, who are down in 17th. And this one is on Saturday as well, the 14th of December, 2:30 p.m. UK time. And go to our page, which you'll find in the description, on footballpredictions.net to find your localized kickoff time, TV channels, odds, and streaming services. And streaming service on this one, again, you can watch it on Bet365. Use our bonus code FP365 when you join, and you'll be able to watch it free and subscription free. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting one because these two sides haven't had a lot of joy in recent times, so it could be a good game.
Yeah, it could be a good game, definitely. Borussia Mönchengladbach, a very mixed bag of results. However, they have actually only just lost one game from the last 7 in the Bundesliga. That was an away game at Frankfurt. And if we look at them at home, the home record of late is also pretty good. 4 wins and 1 draw. They only had those 2 defeats at the beginning of the season to Stuttgart and Leverkusen. And Leverkusen, remember, very strong away team. So, yeah, the most recent home game ended 1-1 against I was about to say Borussia Mönchengladbach, but that's the team we're covering. They played Borussia Dortmund in their most recent home game in the Bundesliga. Our prediction for that game was both teams to score, and it ended 1-1. And in the away game at Frankfurt, we had 3-1 Freiburg. Sorry, I said Frankfurt. I meant Freiburg. They played Freiburg away, and that ended 3-1 Freiburg. We had 3-1 in that game. On the outcomes, we had Gladbach to beat St. Pauli, and we also had them to beat Werder Bremen in their most recent home games in the Bundesliga. And now I got to the Frankfurt game because that was in the DFB Pokal. And we said that Gladbach were going to be knocked out of the DFB Pokal, losing 2-1, and they lost 2-1 at Frankfurt. So, yeah, good home record. Now, if we look at Holstein Kiel, they are kind of getting rooted at the bottom together with Bochum. They picked up just 5 points all season. And if we look up the table now, they got 6 points up to St. Pauli. And if we look at the development of the results of Holstein Kiel, sort of in the beginning of the season, they actually scored a fair amount of goals. They had quite a few games where they scored 2 goals. Out of their first 6 matches in the Bundesliga, they had 4 matches where they scored 2 goals. And that's also where they picked up a couple of draws. They actually picked up a 2-2 draw at Leverkusen and at Bochum. But the last 7 matches now, they've scored just 4 goals. So Holstein Kiel has started to really struggle for goals. And if we look at some of their results also, last time out, Leipzig at home, they lost 2-0 in that game. We called the outcome of that. At St. Pauli, a game really where they should be picking up points. They lost 3-1. We said that St. Pauli were going to win 2-1 in that game. We also called the outcome against Mainz. We said Mainz were going to travel to Holstein Kiel and beat them. They beat them 3-0. And then at Werder Bremen, Holstein Kiel lost 2-1. We said 3-1 Werder Bremen. So overall, Holstein Kiel is obviously in terrible form, but we can also say that maybe they're just not, the quality is probably not there for first Bundesliga yet for this promoted team. They are going to go to Mönchengladbach. They are good at home. It's going to be a very hard test for Holstein Kiel.
Yeah, and they haven't won away from home in the last 6 matches in the league, of course, Holstein Kiel. So not looking great for those. And also because you combine that with the fact that Gladbach haven't been beaten in their last 5 league matches at home. It's all kind of pointing in one direction, isn't it? And that's not a good one for Holstein Kiel. So we think Gladbach will win. You can get odds there of 1.45. I think it's probably the safest thing you can look at. we've got a little side prediction here on both teams to score because, both teams generally do score the goals. It's not like they're always not scoring a goal, but yeah, that's kind of more of a tentative one. But I think I'd probably stick to Gladbach win. We do also make those side predictions. But for the correct score, we've actually gone for a pretty big win of 3-1 to the home side. So Gladbach to win 3-1. Odds there if you go for a correct score, which we have been pretty good at. We got some correct scores recently. For Gladbach, 3-1 you can get odds of 11. That's 10-1 in fractional. And most of you on our website, 72% agree. Gladbach to win, only 6% give Holstein Kiel any chance. I'm sure they're probably Holstein Kiel supporters. And just if you did think that Holstein Kiel could get that win, you can get odds of 7. So good luck to you if you're going to go for that, but we don't think so. Moving on to our summary games now. We've got Union Berlin in 12th who take on Bochum, who are at the 18th position. Saturday, 14th of December, also 2:30 in the afternoon. And for this one, two teams who are really not in good form at all, both identical records in their last 6. That is, in fact, almost exactly the same. They've lost their last 3 and drawn 2 losses before that. We've gone for a both teams to score prediction for this one and a correct score of 3-1 to Union Berlin.
Yeah, moving on to the late kickoff on Saturday the 14th at 5:30 UK time. We've got St. Pauli in 15th taking on Werder Bremen in 10th. This game, of course, you can also watch live and free on Bet365 using that bonus code FP365 on sign up. And for this game, we're going with a score draw of 1-1. So that's 1-1 on the correct score and a score draw.
Moving on to Heidenheim, who are 16th, taking on Stuttgart, who are 8th. And that one's on Sunday, the 15th of December, 2:30 in the afternoon, UK time. Watch it on a Bet365 live streamed. Use our bonus code FP365. Watch it live and subscription free. And for this one, we have gone for an away win to Stuttgart of 1-0 and an under 2.5 goals prediction.
Moving on to Dortmund in 6th, taking on Hoffenheim in 14th. This game takes place Sunday, 15th of December at 4:30 UK time. Another game you can watch live and free on Bet365 using bonus code FP365 on sign up. And for this game, we are going with a both teams to score prediction at Dortmund home win. So this is a home win, Dortmund to win 2-1 on the correct score.
And finally, RB Leipzig, who are in 4th, taking on Eintracht Frankfurt in 2nd. Should be a great game. It's on Sunday, the 15th of December at 6:30 p.m. UK time. We'll stream it live on Bet365. Use our bonus code FP365 to watch it live and subscription free. And for this one, we're anticipating a bit of a goal fest. So we're going to go for an over 2.5 goals prediction. And for the correct score, we think it will be Leipzig to win 3-0. Again, if you plan to watch any of these games on Bet365, geolocation and live streaming rules apply. 18+ Gambler.org, and do make use of our bonus code FP365 if you haven't already got an account.
Yes, and in the description section of this podcast, you can see the links to the matches we've just covered, or just simply visit footballpredictions.net. And why do that? Well, that's where you can have a look at the online places to see the games from your location via streaming and TV channels, our tips for different betting markets, team news, as well as the best offers and odds.
And if you like this, we produce such football podcasts across several competitions in addition to Bundesliga, and you can hear them all at podcast.footballpredictions.net or from where you access your podcasts like Spotify, even on YouTube, things like that, Apple. That's all. Thanks for joining us, and until the next time, it is
Cheers.
I thought both predictions.